Hi there again. This is my 2018 Civic Si. I was asked to do a video about how I cut out the vents. They used to be fake vents. They used to be plastic and stuff back there. So what I did actually, I'll just start out by, I'll show you. I already just have it sitting here just like this. But basically, what I did was I cut out the plastic. And so going into detail about what happened here is this used to be all plastic. It just looked like a bumper, right? And so it was just a fake vent. And so what I did was I took an angle grinder and I grinded out a section. I mean, it doesn't have to be super pretty. No one's gonna see what the back side of it. And the clip itself covers all of the stuff that you don't want to see. So basically what I did was I cut it all out, and what I did was I got some paint, some black paint, and I painted, you can see the bumper and this part here, and I even went as far as painting the back side of the bumper down in here. You don't have to do that, but when you stand back from the car, especially during the daytime, and there's a car back there or whatever, if you don't want people to see, the nasty part behind the bumper, well then paint it. And so I'm going to go ahead and start to describe what I did first. So I did that. I cut that out with the grinder, smoothed it out. It was very simple. It literally only took about 3 minutes. If you're not real good with the grinder, it may take more. But for instance, if you started doing this part and you messed this up and you didn't want to continue any further, before you cut out the grill, leave it the way it is. Don't touch that. So that way, when you mess that up, if you don't like it, you can just put that whole piece right back in there and just say, screw it, whatever, I'll do it another day, or however you want to do it. But that's how I did it. I figured if I started there and I messed up that, then I could easily just put the piece back up there and you wouldn't even know I even started to do that. So anyway, that came out nice. And then so I turned around and then I ended up cutting this out. And so you'll see it's the whole section, as far as that goes right there, that I cut out. Now I'll flip it around to the back side and you'll see exactly what I did. So I bought some aluminum mesh offline. It was already painted black. And what I did was I created a template and I outlined it and then I cut it out. Well, then what I did from there is I put it on there, and then I basically just took a hot glue gun and I went around all the corners and just glued it down in as many places as I could. And then so yes, that's that's pretty much what I did. I did use an extra little bit of Gorilla Glue, and I put a little dabs of it on little corners just to make sure that it wasn't going to fall off. So if you wanted, if there's another way you guys wanted to use to fasten it on there, do it. But that's pretty much basically what I did, and it's worked good so far. And so, and that is what it's left with. Now, to get this whole piece out of the bumper, you'll see right here that there is a screw hole here and a screw hole up top. The top screw is super hard to get out. I'm not gonna lie. You have to have like a really small screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, to get that out. When I eventually got this all out, and plus there's little plastic clips. There's 1, 2 on the bottom. Actually, there's 3. There's 3 clips on the bottom, and there's 2 on the sides, 2 on the top. So once you undo the screws, you can, from the back side, laying under the car, you can push the clips out. Maybe get something on the front side to pop the clips, and it comes right out of there. But when putting it back in there, it was so tight that I didn't want to put the screw in. That was super hard to get out again. So I just eventually I'm using this screw hole here. So that's that. And then basically, this is what happens when you put it back up there. So I'm going to set the phone. Actually, I'm going to try to do this while I'm holding the phone. So it literally pops in that easy. It's just boom, boom, boom. Pop, pop, pop. It's in all the way. And then now all I have left to do is put the screw in, and you're left with that. It's a clean look. To each his own. I prefer it to be a real vent. When I first bought the car, I didn't really care about it too much, but when I started to do stuff to this car, that was one of the things I was thinking about doing, was just turning that into a real vent. And I did that to the front as well. And if you were to do this side, you will repeat the process. It's the same process, what I just described. Now to do the front's a little bit different, but pretty much the same. The front, which is the main reason why I started to do this anyway, because of the cold air intake. So the front, you basically take a flathead screwdriver or your pry tools, and you will pry these corners. You'll pry all these corners, and you pry this out a little bit, and then down in this corner here, there's a little push clip that you have to use with a flathead to pop that out, or your pry tools. And then once you pop that out of there, then you pretty much have the same thing as the back. You don't even have to disconnect your fog light. You pull this whole plastic piece out, and then you're going to take the Dremel. I didn't use the angle grinder up here, because once you take this piece out, there is no back piece there. It's already cut out. All you're really having to do is, once you take this whole unit out of here, you will take a Dremel and you will cut out the whole outline of where you're going to have the mesh all in here from the back side. And basically, once you do that, you create a template, and then you cut your mesh. And I did the same thing. I hot glued it down, and that was it. And the front came out really nice as well. And everything works good. My intake sits right back in there. I drove through the winter time with it. Mind you, I do have a hydrojet cover on the intake because I mean, I'm not trying to suck up water, by any means. So I didn't want to risk it. So I bought one of those, put it on, and I just leave it on there. And I'll here in the next couple months, I'll clean off the filter and make sure it's all clean. But other than that, same process for this side as well. You're going to do exactly what I just described on the other side. You basically just repeat the process 4 different times, and you'll have it all done. This whole process, I did the fronts first. The front of the car took me about, I'd say about 2.5 hours, just because I'm really OCD, and I wanted to make sure it was super clean and didn't have a bunch of stuff hanging out left over. And I also did paint stuff too in the front as well. Like, so for instance, when you look back here, you can see this black behind the mesh. That's your bumper. That's the aluminum bumper. Well, you could actually see a bunch of stuff back in here if I didn't paint stuff. So once I had this all out, I taped everything off, and I just took a can of black gloss spray paint, and I just started painting everything in there. And same thing, if from the front of the car in the sun, you can see through there, and I don't like that look, so that's what I did. And that's what I'm left with. So that is it. If you guys have any questions, just send me a text message through YouTube, or shoot me an email, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'd like to see some subscribers. I know my channel is new, and I know it takes a while to get subscribers. I'm not the best filmer, nor am I the best speaker, but I do commit to showing what it is I've done as far as different things I've done. So just let me know. Thanks.